from noob to pro in 7 days. This is the Warhammer Painting Challenge.
Welcome to the third day of the challenge. The goal for today is to paint freehands on the miniature, but before we start with that, I need to paint the rest of the miniature first. So I followed the same steps as the last time. And in the meantime, some of you might not know what freehand painting actually means. I understand it like that. If you paint something that is not originally on the miniature, for example a logo or a design or a pattern, then you are doing freehand painting. Basically, if you are painting something that wasn't already there. And now with the shading mostly finished, I can start with the main goal of today's video. But one more thing, we need to choose the design I want to paint first. So I grabbed my tablet and I started sketching some designs. My first thought was to paint something really simple, a simple square pattern, nothing fancy. But then I thought maybe it would be just a little bit boring to paint only squares. So I thought maybe I should paint a skull or an emblem. But then suddenly I had an idea. What if I would paint a whole landscape on the shoulder plate? It would be green, beautiful landscape, and it would contrast great with the red paints. So what do you think I chose as my first ever freehand painting? Of course, I chose to paint a whole landscape. As the first step, I covered the shoulder plate in white paint because it should serve as my white canvas. And as I painted, I thought about the story of this space marine, and I think he should be called Odysseus, as the one in an ancient Greek mythology. He took part in many wars and many fights on distant planets, and now all he wants to do is to return home. That's why he painted his favorite landscape on his armor, so that he would never forget where he truly belongs. It is probably totally unrealistic considering the Warhammer lore and canon, but I think it's a pretty neat story nonetheless. As a second step, I painted the sky and the river with the beautiful light blue. Then I created the sun in the middle as the centerpiece of the whole landscape. And then I painted grass and one tree, but everybody needs a friend, so I painted a couple more. And lastly, I shaded the trees, I added some highlights, some detail, and now it is time to reveal the great, the only Odysseus. Thank you all for watching the third day of the challenge, and see you in the next one.